I am super excited for you to meet today's guest. She is none other than Australian-born and Paris-Polish Danah Matthews. Danah is a dancer, actor, choreographer, and founder of the You Showgirl platform. And she is a walking masterclass in powerful presence. Today, she's going to share how to use movement to build influence in both your life and your business.
Hi. Yes, I'm joining you from Los Angeles, although I'm actually kind of down the road from where you are in Adelaide originally.
So Danah, can you tell me a bit about how someone like you from Victor Harbor, how do you end up in the US? So before we go on, maybe we should explain to people who watch this video where Victor Harbor is.
Oh, Victor Harbor, what is it, about 60 Ks? I don't even know what that is in miles because I refuse to convert. 60 Ks out of Adelaide. It is on the south coast of South Australia. And I always tell people that it's a small town and it has when I was growing up, it had one set of traffic lights and it was a big deal when McDonald's came to town. And there's great surf, but it's freezing and probably some sharks in the water and excellent wine in South Australia.
I didn't know that because I thought McLarenville was the one with excellent wine, and I thought Victor Harbor was the one where you go and see whales and Port Elliot Bakery.
Yes, Port Elliot Bakery, absolutely. And when I'm looping in the wine, then I am also looping in McLaren Vale and the Barossa and the Clare Valley, because it's just in the same state. So by association, we did bond over the greatness of Port Elliot Bakery and what it gives to the world. It's amazing.
It's one of the best bakeries in the world. They do a different donut of the month and a different pie of the month every month. I don't know how they do it.
I just dream about the honey logs at Port Elliot Bakery. They're amazing.
Yeah. So what made you decide to leave Victor Harbor?
Oh, well, leaving Victor Harbor was not a difficult decision because it is a really, really small town. And I grew up obviously listening to my parents, and they had traveled so much in their time on Earth. They're still here. They're not gone. But there was always just this idea of such a big world out there. And from the time I was little, I think I was a little bit obsessed with Paris for no particular reason. And I became very involved in dance from the time when I was about 8. And I started dancing because one of my best friends was changing schools, and I wasn't going to see her anymore. And of course, when you're 8 and your best friend leaves school, you think that you're probably going to die if you don't see your best friend every day. So I was like, well, I'm not allowed to change school, so I'll just have to go and start ballet and drama and doing everything that she does. So that's how I really started dancing. And then by the time I was 12, I really wanted to pursue it professionally, and I wanted to either go to the Australian Ballet School or VCA or these full-time schools that there are in Australia. There's not many, so you have to be good to get into them.
Yeah, I've heard you have to be really good to get into them.
Yeah. And then there's even less jobs than there are placements in the education program. So you've got to be top tier and kind of start working early. And that's really what I wanted to do, because I knew that with ballet, you had to pursue that as far as you could first, because it's not really something that you can go back to and pursue professionally. So I deep dove on that, and I ended up getting into a school in Queensland, actually, which was the furthest one away from Victor Harbor. But that's the one that I got into. So I was like, okay, I'm going to Brisbane. So I actually left home when I was 15. And I then, from that full-time school, I still finished school because it was attached to a regular high school, but it was also attached to the Queensland Ballet Company. So we took class all the time in the morning, and it was dancing from around 8 a.m. until 12 or 12:30, and then we went to regular school in the afternoon. Then cut to end of finishing high school, I got into the ballet program at the New Zealand School of Dance. So I then went to New Zealand at 17. And before I finished third year, I changed to the contemporary stream in that school because I was pretty miserable in the ballet world. And about 2 weeks after I changed to contemporary, I saw this advertisement for the Moulin Rouge in a magazine. And I thought, oh, hang on a second. They say minimum height 5'8". Huh.
Yeah.
And I was always the tallest one in class, like the tallest one, the brownest one. I always had to be the
Yeah.
boy. And I suddenly was like, hang on a second. This is for me. This is for tall people. And so I asked if I could do the audition during the Easter holidays, because that's when the audition was, and it was in Melbourne. So I went to Melbourne instead of going back to Adelaide for that Easter break. And I got all of my friends to come to the audition with me who were living in Melbourne. Some of them were at the Aussie Ballet
Yeah.
School. Some of them were in the Lion King at the time. Some of them, like, they were doing different things in Melbourne, but still dancing. And they all got cut really early because they were shorter. But I was just like, let's just go and dance. It'll be fun. It'll be like high school. And then I ended up staying until the end. My memory says that this audition was 5 hours long. I can't remember if it was, but there was a lot of girls and it was a long audition. And I got to the end. I sent a thank you email because that was what we were being taught to do at school. Like, you send a follow-up, you send thank yous, you tell them what you enjoyed about the process and make it easy for them to book you. And I made it really easy for them to book me because I had a Dutch passport because my mum is Dutch Indonesian. So I was like,
Oh.
I got an email, I think a few days later saying, can you come by the end of next week? And I was not really anticipating that at all. I thought, like, this feels like it's for me. Maybe I've got a shot. I'm going to go through the processes and do what I'm being taught to do. And then I hadn't attached too much to it. But then it came through and I thought, okay, well, the point of this is all of this training is to get a job. And
Yeah.
why not go and do cabaret for a little while? Even if it's 6 months, this is what dancing should be about. It should be about smiling and having fun and making people feel good and feeling beautiful, because prior to that, I wasn't feeling very beautiful in classical ballet land. And I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it. So I picked up my life and was in Paris probably 10 days later. And I thought, I'll give myself 6 months. And in reality, I got there and then I went, I'm going to stay until I stop learning. And I was there for like around 10 years, but probably like 7 years if you push up all the time together, because I left in between times. I went to Italy and did a couple of TV contracts on big television shows in Italy, and I came back to Australia for a short time and did a contract with a contemporary company, Dance North, which is based in Townstown. And that was a bit of a culture shock coming back from Milan to Townsville and being like, oh, I'm going to go out in the mall on
It's
Saturday.
close.
Like, no people at 1,000,000 degrees. I was like, where am I? What am I doing? but it was all like everything came at the right time. And so to get to LA, I moved here initially at the very end of 2014, because while I was in Paris, I was also pursuing acting, and I was doing film and theatre school during the day and French school during the day, and then on stage at the Moulin Rouge at night. So I had very full days and a lot of energy, clearly.
Yeah. That's a long day.
I did not. Like, I was like, did I actually sleep? Because I feel like I went out a lot as well. There must have been zero sleep happening.
Look, I think when you're younger, you can do that. Like now that I'm older, I used to have days like that where I could like study the whole day and then I would go out with friends and you go out late and then you go home late and somehow you can do it again the next day. But as you get
Yeah.
older, you need to sleep at 10. It's like
Yes.
9 o'clock is too late.
That's true. That's true. It was endless energy and endless stimulation and endless learning and performing and learning and performing and learning and performing. And I loved that until I didn't, until it just felt like I just keep living the same year over and over at work because the show is the same. So there's not much that is really going to change at work unless you get to learn a different spot. But I learned a lot of the places, like nearly all of the girls' places, within my first year and a half, probably. And I'd already been performing soloist and principal all the time. So there was nowhere next for me to go. And I didn't have a partner in Paris. I didn't have kids. I wasn't interested in like settling at all, like settling down or settling in. That wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to continue to grow as an artist and use my instrument in different ways. And so I was like, I've got to go to LA if I'm going to do this, because that really is the mecca. Like, it's LA or New York if you want to pursue
that's where everyone goes.
Great training. Yeah. So I came here, and then within I think a couple of weeks, the choreographer of the Moulin Rouge and the shows in Italy called me and said, can you come back to Italy? We're doing another show. Come on. I know that you haven't unpacked your bags yet, but just come back. 6 months. So I went and did another show in Italy, and then finally came back in mid 2015. And I have been here ever since in Los Angeles. And it has been quite a ride, because now you and I met in a coaching group, and I'm coaching people on everything that I've learned in the Moulin, from the Italian TV shows, things that are useful from my acting experience as well, and how to bring that into your dancing and into your performance quality and into your approach with your body, which is so fun, because I get so much fulfillment from seeing my students or my clients use this work and apply it and be able to experience their bodies in a new way, and also then get new results because of it, and longevity out of their bodies. And
also like it makes them a whole lot more confident, like especially when I did your exercises on the platform, the You Showgirl platform, because you're telling us shoulders wide, neck long, so like it straightens out your posture, and it just makes you feel different, because you feel a lot more confident when you're open like that rather than closed off, shoulders triggering.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. The widen and lengthening of the collarbones, and then so your neck can then be freer, and then suddenly you start breathing more efficiently, and then suddenly you end up getting a bit of a natural smile on your face, just because released this unnecessary tension. And it is something, this is the wonderful thing and the crazy thing about showgirl technique and the moves, is that it's really power poses. It's one power pose after another.
That's what's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. And you get to play with your body and your mood in that way, because it automatically is going to release serotonin and dopamine, because you're moving your body and you're working out, but also you're posturing yourself into these very confident and powerful poses So your body doesn't have a chance against you to go into any kind of depression, self-doubt, anything that feels kind of spiraling down. It feels powerful when you do it. And then when you're really doing it with ways that are opening up your body and using the space around you, it looks and feels very powerful. So I've spent a lot of time, what's the word? Philosophizing and also studying on what gives somebody stage presence and what gives somebody that it factor. And it really is something that can be taught and practiced, and you can do it on stage and off stage.
That's good to know, because I'm trying to figure out how you get the X factor. Like, some people on stage have it naturally. I don't know what it is that makes them have it.
It's
because that's actually
some people do have it naturally, but what you can learn to cultivate, and if they were really going to think about what it is that they're doing, maybe they could articulate that they're being very specific about where they're placing themselves and why. And I mean actually where they're placing themselves in their mind, because how you think about your body, how you think about the space around you, and what kind of ingredients that you give yourself as an artist in your imagination colors everything. But if you're just going out on stage and trying to get things right and make the shapes and do the steps, that's when somebody's one-dimensional and you end up, they just become a body in space, and because there's nothing really happening. It all becomes about them rather than about opening up and giving and exploring. That's my hot take.
That's your hot take on it. Yeah, because when I was starting out in aerial silks, that would be, so it's actually a competition because they do grade you on certain things, and one of the things was X Factor. And yeah, and the rest of us in my class, we couldn't work out how to score in X Factor because I think we were all really new to performing on stage, so we're all like nervous and like, okay, as long as I hit the shape, that's fine. So we're just trying to like get through it and hit shapes, but we didn't know how to, like what you were saying, like perform outward towards the audience rather than bring it all in. And I think now that I've done it for a few years, I think I can sort of consciously start doing that.
Yes.
But still, there's some people who just naturally have it. It's so unfair.
There are, but now that you're in a space that you are more confident with your body and what your body can do on the silks and on stage, look, it is normal that
it is a learning curve.
In the beginning, you're gonna cling to the things that you already know and that you know that you can control, which is your physical muscles and the shapes. And because you signed up for the Showgirl Shift Masterclass as well, and do go over these principles in that experience. It's like two classes, hour and a half classes, which touches on what you're doing physically and then also what you're thinking about to give a certain, maybe the effect you're looking for is like, I want this to look a certain way. Maybe the outcome is I want it to feel a certain way for my character, but the effect can be the same when you start giving yourself tools. And you can practice this at home. Okay, here's something really simple that you can do, that anyone who is watching this can do, and it's literally getting up and out of a chair and standing up. And you sit in a chair, hopefully one that's kind of has a hard part underneath your butt, so you're not sinking in and sinking back, because you want to have some support underneath your sit bones when you do it. And you can just give yourself a couple of breaths just to actually connect with your breath. And then film yourself just getting up out of the chair. Whatever. Okay. I'm going from sitting to standing. And then you can feel, I'm just going to move back a little bit. This is not the ideal chair for this, by the way.
Yeah, I've got a slouchy chair as well. That's why I keep leaning back. It's so nice and it circles.
I know. It's so cozy and comforting.
Yeah.
Like having a womb. But you can like then sit on the chair and you can think about the 8 corners of the room that you're in, because probably you're sitting in a square or a rectangle room. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 corners in the room.
Yeah.
Right? And as soon as you get an awareness of that, then the energy starts coming up my body. And actually, I have less want to be comforted by my chair, because actually that energy is being sent way further out, away from my body, away from my center of my energetic field. It's going like further out. And so then if I just think about those 8 corners of the room, and I'm going to get out of my chair, but I'm going to do it with a sense of moving up into the top half of the room, into those top 4 corners. And I know I just lost my head then. So
yeah. You went up too high. Because you went to the top corner.
Yeah, it feels lighter it feels much lighter in your body, in my body. And it also fills the space and fills the screen in a different way. And it's really interesting to practice it, you can't really watch yourself in the mirror doing it. So it's good to film yourself just being whatever, getting out of the chair, and then doing it using those eight corners of the room. And it's automatically more commanding. Now, when you do this, if you're hanging from a silk, or if you're in heels, you're on stage, and you're using those 8 corners of the room to really support, then it stops becoming about you and just like, what does my body look like? It becomes about the involvement of everything around you.
I saw the difference. I saw the difference. You look really open when you did that.
Yeah. And it's actually,
and it looks light. It looks light. It looks like you're not putting in much effort.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It looks effortless, but actually you're thinking about so many things.
Yeah.
And it looks effortless, and that's why it's all here.
It's all here. It just shifts your focus from this very, actually quite egocentric place that makes us collapse and doubt and judge, to a place that really honestly feels higher in my body and more generous of spirit, because I'm actually considering people, places in the room, space that is outside of me. And I think that really comes out when you can see a line of people dancing, and they're dancing the same, or acrobats, and they're doing the same choreography or the same moves, but there will be people whose their focus like stops at their eyelashes, because they're only focused on them. And then there are people who are performing for the students who are sitting at the back of the theater in the cheap seats. And that, because it's so intentional that they're sending that energy out, we receive it differently.
I've never heard it explained like that, because the teacher always says, well, my teacher explains that. She says, imagine there's lightning bolts in your hand and you want to like shoot those lightning bolts to she doesn't say the corner, but she says like to the audience, but you want to aim for like the one that's near the tech box, so the highest seat at the back.
Yeah. That's not
but it is energy.
Though.
It is
it's energy, but you can think about that. You can think about that even coming from from your heart center. Now, maybe she's trying to really get you to reach with your extremities.
Yeah, she's trying to get us to reach. She always says reach, reach, reach. Yeah.
But imagine if that same lightning bolt is coming from actually your heart.
I love the lightning bolt analogy.
Through your arms, and then through your arms, and then out of your fingers.
And out.
Yeah. And it comes from that moment of like, oh, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so grateful to be here. And then it can come out and flow through you and to everybody else. That feels fun. So that's the other thing, that yes, it's gonna look different and almost inexplicable, but it's gonna feel so much more fun and so nourishing for the person moving in this way. So I love it, and it's these are all things that have come from different dance techniques, movement techniques, acting techniques, even things that I've had to learn in some ways through physical therapy when I've injured myself. I haven't had that many injuries, touch wood, but actually none through dancing, only through being really clumsy.
Same. I've got injuries from other stuff, not through dancing, not from silks.
Yeah. So what was it? You used the a la carte platform.
Yes.
And you did some classes from that, and then you sent me a voice note and you were like, this is what I've been looking for. And I was like, yes, because you don't have to, strictly be a dancer to do it. Like, this is so useful for acrobats, silk aerialists, flow artists. So just like, I'd love to hear your experience with it.
Yeah, so to be fair, when I sent you the voice note, I think what might have been the easiest class, which was the yoga flow.
All right.
But I didn't know it until I did a few more. And then, yeah, because it was yoga flow, but it wasn't just because I've done yoga before. And then usually the teacher says, okay, you get into this pose, this is what it looks like, which is all the physical stuff, right? But you were saying like, okay, remember to keep your shoulders wide and lengthen the neck so that something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of like infusing a performance kind of perspective in it while doing the yoga move, which is what I was looking for, which, regular yoga teachers don't touch on that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I sent you that voice note. And then I did a couple more classes. I did one that was, because I think that yoga one was a beginner's one. So I thought, oh, okay, that was easy. Let me try intermediate. Intermediate was so hard because I did the one that was full body.
Yeah.
And I think it was 30 minutes. And you did like some this, it was like this one. Sorry. Like, I think
it was like a long,
we were doing that and then like that or something. And then we sat down, right? 15 minutes in, I think you sat down and you started stretching. I was like, oh, thank God it's over. And then you're like, no, lean back and start doing abs. And it killed me.
Yeah, but it's all good stuff, Isabel. It's all good.
And I remember I was holding a band and then doing the little crunches. And then just holding the band just made it harder to do those crunches. And then you got into this plow shape thing after doing those the hundreds.
Oh yeah, and then it would be a rollover.
Yes, that was when I had to take a break. That was too much.
Yeah.
So I sat there for 5 minutes while letting the video play.
Let me do it.
What?
You just let me do it.
I let you do it.
No, but it's all good, and it's all like things that you can work up to, and you can always pause and come back to it. And
but I didn't want to pause because I knew if I paused I would stop it. So I just let it keep playing, and I just sat there and took a rest for a few minutes.
And then you rejoined.
Yeah, and then I rejoined when I went back to that arm thing again. that thing, the arm pulses and bicep curls.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
They'll get you.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to beginner.
Useful for what you're doing with the aerial. And you had a performance this last weekend,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, this weekend, Saturday, full day. We did 2 performances. So we did a tech rehearsal, but they sold out of tickets. So they opened up the tech rehearsal to an audience as well. And then we did the actual performance 2 hours later.
Yo.
And everyone loved our performance because I think we were doing what you were talking about unintentionally because we love the dance so much. So you could see like our arms were like whoo, taking out the whole space and all that. Because I watched the recording and you could see like we were really enjoying it, and the audience could tell we had so many cheers after that as well.
Yeah. That's so great.
Yeah.
So great. And you've been training in aerial for how long?
Before COVID. So it must have been more than 5 years.
Wow.
Because I remember taking classes and then we had to have masks on, which was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might have been 2019 I started. It's about maybe 5.5, 6.
Brilliant.
Yep. And then I started doing contemporary last year.
That's great. That's great because that is going to help you with the, those moments across the floor when you're walking towards the silk.
Yeah. That's why I started doing contemporary because I didn't know how to walk. I did. That sounds silly. I didn't know how to walk.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to walk as in a performance kind of way. That's what I meant.
Yeah. You could use the heels classes on You Showgirl as well.
Oh, are there heels classes? Because that's what I want to do. Yeah. I haven't got heels of the right height though. Can I just do them flat-footed?
You can do it. You can speak. Yeah, because actually the heels classes that I have on there, I filmed them in Paris. I filmed them in a theater. But each class actually starts barefoot so that you are warming up your feet in such a way that you're like, okay, now I'm ready and I'm like plugged into my feet and the earth again, regardless of whether you're going to put heels on and do the rest or not. And they're all, they're like 15 to 25 minutes long, the heels classes, because they're really about technique of walking really elegantly, and whether that is in a slow rhythm, a fast rhythm, with hips, without hips, with sort of different characters.
Yeah, I need to do some hips. Yeah. My hips don't move. I haven't worked out how to move them.
Oh,
I moved the whole thing. I moved the whole, yeah, my whole body moves when I try to move my hips.
A really good place to start is just doing a figure of 8 hips. So they're going front side back, front side back, front side back, and then start to add a walk onto that. Yeah. That's a way to make it look really kind of slinky at any time. At any time. Yeah.
Some people look like slinky cats. That's what I want to look. I want to look like a slinky cat.
We can do another call and we can work on your slinky cat.
Gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be another call. Another day.
There'll be another call. But what about you? You're living in Adelaide and you help founders with their social media strategy and content. And how did you find this niche?
Okay. So this is a very long story, just like yours. Okay. So I am not from Australia. I moved here 12 years ago. Moved to Adelaide from a city. So I was actually from Singapore, which is I think most people know where Singapore is, but it's like a very small city, state, country. So we have no states. The whole thing is just a country, city. And it has, I think now it has 6 million people on it, which is a lot of people. So we have like lots of high-rise buildings. Hardly anyone lives in houses. And same as you, because I was from a really, really small place, even though it had lots of people, I thought I have to get out of here because I can't imagine living in a place that's so small but has so many people. And you're always queuing all the time just because we have that high population that's there always queuing for stuff. Yeah, it's pretty competitive too. So probably just as competitive as getting into the Australian ballet school. because our universities and our schools are all really competitive. It's like you have to get close to 80% grades to get in. That's the minimum.
Wow.
And so because I didn't get that, so I came to Australia to study. So I think I got 70 something. So I was just like a little bit below. So I came to Australia to study. And I chose Adelaide, South Australia specifically because there's no one here.
There's no one.
It's just 1 million people.
They should have that on the number plate of the cars.
Yeah, there's no one here.
There's no one here.
We appeal to city dwellers. And then and I just liked it so much because Singapore is a tropical country which doesn't have 4 seasons, and that's part of why I moved here as well, because I didn't want to go to Sydney because I know it was densely populated. Melbourne was the same. And then I was like, why don't I go to Adelaide? Because it looks like it has 4 seasons. There's no one here. And it'll be nice and quiet. And so I was like, yes, let's go to Adelaide. But I didn't have any relatives here at all. So I just picked the uni. I got in. And then I had the best 3 years of my life. Because because I came with no one, not knowing anyone. And then I was just forced to make friends really quickly. But then I came here initially to study science because for most of my life, I wanted to be a vet. Which I did do a diploma in vet nursing. And then when I got my placement, I found out I was allergic to something in the clinic.
Oh, no.
And I didn't know what I was. And then I was like, oh, is this a sign that I'm not supposed to be a vet? Because I had a runny nose and tears coming from my eyes. So it was obviously an allergy. And even a vet who I was working with, he said, I think you have an allergy to something. But we couldn't figure out what it was because I had a pet dog and I had worked with animals throughout the whole of my course. And I didn't have any allergies then. It was only when I got the placement.
Well, so it was something in the actual clinic.
I think it was something in the clinic, but maybe I couldn't work out what animal it was because I had worked with so many, like I grew up with animals. So I knew it couldn't be a dog or a cat.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just because there's so many animals going to the vet clinic and just animal fluff everywhere.
Yeah. So then how did you fall into, or choose rather this, support system for founders with social media?
Okay. Yeah. We're still talking about science. So when I graduated uni, I actually got like a science job. I got a job in agriculture, which is pretty big here in South Australia, because South Australia is a fruit fly free state. And then they needed scientists to work in the labs.
Any fruit or vegetables, or you will be beheaded.
Exactly. And that was what I was doing. So I was working in the lab doing all this fruit fly stuff, right? But like you, it was the same thing every day. And after about 3.5 years, I wasn't feeling challenged. So I thought, oh, this can't be the rest of my life. And then I'm just doing the same PCRs every day. So I thought, and at the time, my dad was setting out an e-commerce store. So he was getting me to help him in the website part and the social media part of it for free, because he said, I'm your dad, you have to do it for free. I'm not paying you. And I was like, I should get paid for this. So then I did another diploma here in Australia in social media marketing. And then as soon as I got a diploma, I left my science job because the other thing with science jobs here as well is that they're depending on funding. So every couple of years, you still have to ask the head of the lab saying, you have to ask them, is my contract getting renewed? Because you have to check whether they still have funding, because sometimes they don't. And then the project just ends and then you lose your job because they can't continue the project.
Oh my goodness.
Even though agriculture is really important in the state, for some reason, like it is dependent on funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's how I got here, because I moved into marketing, where I got like my first job at a nonprofit. I got so good at it that my colleagues started referring people to me. So then I was juggling like freelance clients and that job at the same time. And this was during COVID, because when I changed careers, it was 2020. Okay. So I left science for marketing in 2020 and I got my job in March 2020. And I remembered when I got that job, within 2 days of me starting, they said we have to work from home because of COVID restrictions, and we have to move everything online. And I was their new hire for social media marketing. So suddenly they were coming to me and saying, we need to release like a media release, we need to tell people what's going to happen. The office is going to shut down. We need you to do this email for us. We need you to post something on social media. And we also need you to figure out what we're going to do for the next couple of months.
Wow. So
as a new hire.
So heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, but luckily I had a manager and asked the manager, what should we do? Because I'm new and I don't know what I'm doing. And she was like, we'll figure it out because I don't know. This is all new as well.
And you did.
Yeah, and I did because I'm resourceful and I had YouTube. So I went to YouTube and I typed a lot of questions in and figured it out.
What a great time to do it too, right at the beginning when absolutely everybody had to move online.
Yeah, and every business had to have a social media person as well because they didn't know what they were doing. And yeah, and I guess that's how I got all those freelance gigs. But then at about 3 years in, because I had so much freelance work already, I had dropped my hours to part-time. So I was doing part-time in my job and then the other half of that working with my own clients. I realized with my own clients, because they had, DIY'd their own stuff, so they knew how time-consuming it was. So they were more appreciative compared to working in a job where I'm trying to do work here and then they're not. Well, I'm not. When I ask them for stuff, it always gets delayed because I can't come up with content by myself. It needs to be a collaboration with the person who asks for it, right? Because they are the one who knows their own project best or their own business best. And then you're the one who just helps them translate the information into simple words that other people can understand. So you're like sort of the bridge between them and their customers. So they need to give you the initial information at first, which was what I wasn't getting much of from my job because it was always get pushed back. It would always get pushed back. That was the problem. I think it's because it's just a big organization compared to like a small business where you're talking to the founder directly so they can give you the information. So after 3 years, I said, I'm going to leave because this job is burning me out. Because by then I was doing social media management for them for multiple projects. So it was one company, but they would have like maybe 10 over projects within that. So I was managing about 8 of those, 8 social media accounts. And then I was also doing video production for them because when COVID hit, they were trying to do video production. So they would have videos online to share stories about their work so that they can build brand awareness. And that's really 2 people's jobs. The video producer should always be a separate person to the social media person.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I was also doing like some website. Sometimes they will ask me to update some stuff on the website, so I would have to do that as well.
That's a lot. That's
like 3 people's roles. And when I left, they actually got a new manager on board too. And I was due to go for a holiday, so I handed the new manager my work. And when I came back, she said she was so busy doing my work, she hadn't had time to do her work. And she said she actually realized when I was away, that's actually a full-time workload. And she said that was probably the reason why I always felt like I was trying to catch up whenever I came back to the office, like because I was part-time. She said it's a full person's workload, but you are running on part-time hours. And she said she thinks when I dropped to part-time hours, they hadn't reduced my workload because they forgot that was supposed to be reduced to part-time. So I had just kept on doing it.
It sounds like they were trying to squeeze as much out of you
as
they could.
Yeah. So now that's how I run my own business now. And I find that the people I work with, because now I can say no to people who are not aligned to me. Yeah. And if they have any red flags, I just say no to them. And they are the most beautiful clients ever.
Who are your ideal people that you want to work with?
Yeah, so for me, people have asked me what industry my clients are from, but I say usually they're not from any particular industry. They are more like they have the same problem. So what they would have is that they might have a podcast or they might have a video channel or they might be writing blogs or emails by themselves. But what they don't have time for is turning those things into social media content. So I have like one client, she's a mental health GP. She writes one email each month and then she gives that to me. And from that one email, I look at the information and then I take that and turn it into shorter snippets that we put on social media. So from one email, I get like 10 to 12 social media posts based on the content within that one email.
Okay.
And then her goal with that is actually to grow her email list. So when we put it on social media, it's really strategic. Most marketers will call a marketing funnel. So that's your top of funnel content to build awareness. It brings new people into your world. So then there's like your connection content, which is people get to know you. And then there will be like your selling kind of post, which is telling them how to buy from you. And well, with the GP, she's not selling anything. So we have the two kinds of attraction content and the connection content to then get people to sign up to her emails if they found those useful. And that's one of the clients I have. And then the other one's like a graphic designer. So it's really different, but same problem. She had a YouTube channel and she has a podcast and she just doesn't have time to turn that into social media content.
Yeah. So they just send you footage of things and then you trawl it for the gold and know how to package it.
Exactly. Because that's what they were doing themselves. But then they realized it's just taking them away from other work that actually needs them, because someone else could do that. Someone else could do the crawling of the video content. They just have to give me instructions like what exactly is the goal of that content.
Okay.
And then I'll just find it and then I'll word it for that. And then everything just gets passed back to them. So they review it, but they don't actually have to do the work themselves.
Okay. And you do that with like the editing, like you go through all of the footage
it depends, because it depends on their budgets, because some of them already have teams. So like the one who is a graphic designer, she has a team of me, and then she has a video editor, and she has a graphic designer working for her, so she doesn't even design her own graphics anymore. And then she has like a virtual assistant to help her schedule posts. So what I'm coming in is basically I'm helping her write the copy, but in a way that it still sounds like her. And then I'm coming in and helping her manage her team as well, because I tell the video editor what to do and the graphic designer what to design.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
it's kind of interesting because it really depends on their team, whether they have a team. And then if they don't have a team, then basically I do what I can, but I'm only a one person team at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's really good to know. With you're flexible in being able to manage different kinds of scenarios, whether they already have existing resources with them and you know how to direct them. And
because sometimes they just need something really specific as well. Because I've got another one that's a non-profit. So they have an online business manager, but the online business manager is the person that's sort of in charge of project management. So she's not very familiar with social media. So she got me on board, and what we do is we collaborate with the client together. So we both look good. So she's doing the project management part. She's assigning tasks to people and she's assigning tasks to me. And then I help them create the content, but then the client gives me the information to do that content. So most of my work is really collaborative because as I think, as I mentioned before, I need the client to have input on their stuff, because content it needs to it's personal, and it needs like help you maintain your brand reputation. So you need to be involved, even if it's just like the final review at the end. So really, it depends on their situation. It's like, but the problem is the same. The underlying problem is the same. It's just that they don't have enough time to do this anymore, and they know it's taking the time away from more important work that they need to do.
And what is your favorite part actually of all of these collaborations and the tasks and the repurposing of material?
It's like what you said, like when you see your clients achieving stuff and you feel like a proud mama. Because I had one client, and when she started working with me, she didn't know how to use Canva. So Canva is a graphic design tool. So she didn't know how to use Canva. So she was trying to put pictures together for social media. And she was using, and it looks really old school. So it looks like PowerPoint presentations with the old like word art text, the gradient text. And she sent it to me, and then I asked her, okay, what did you use to create this picture? Because it looks, I wanted to say it, but I didn't want to say it in a mean way. So I said, it looks really old, like it's from the 2000. And then she said, oh, I use PowerPoint. And it took me 2 hours. That's what she said. And she said, it's taking too long. Can you help me and tell me how I can do this better? And I put her on the Canva and I said, hey, this is how you do it. Okay. And we can, oh, and the good thing with Canva is that because it's online on the cloud, I can actually collaborate with clients on the same designs. So I can create like a template in there, and then they can log in using their own Canva account on the same design and they can do their tweaks. And then I'll go in and review it and I'll just sort of refine it more so it looks a bit more professional, because sometimes they forget about leaving white space on the sides, like everything's too cramped. And I'll just go in and tweak that, but I'll record myself doing those tweaks so that they understand why I'm doing that. So they're learning as I change it as well. And now this client, her designs look so much different from the PowerPoint designs that she had when she was starting out. And I've only been working with her for 2 months. And as soon as she understood how to use Canva, how to use all the tools, she got really good at designing.
Oh, brilliant. Because then that's fun, because you're getting to teach them how to
save time as well. Because it was taking her 2 hours to do that in PowerPoint. And it was really, because PowerPoint is so inflexible. She couldn't like shift stuff behind. There's no layers. It's not like Photoshop. Canva has layers, so you can like sort of shift stuff to the background, shift stuff to the foreground, and it's very quick.
Yeah.
And I think she said it takes her 30 minutes now compared to 2 hours before, because it's more intuitive once she got used to all the controls and she knew how to do stuff. That was my proudest moment. And then she also said, oh, the things you're telling me to do, it's working, because I see more clients coming in.
Yeah. It's so satisfying. I had the same thing with one of my clients last week, and it was one of my private clients, and she was performing a series of Halloween shows in Kansas or Texas or both. And it was cold, because we're moving into autumn here. She's wearing not a lot of clothing for these performances, but gorgeous costuming, but just it's cold where they're performing and she has to step up. And she would actually use the same tool that I just told you about before, these 8 corners of the room. So it stopped her from crouching in on herself, collapsing in on herself, and she was able to, like, okay, 8 corners of the forest. Okay, let's go. And it's so fun when you notice these things walking around in the world by themselves. It's very prideful moment.
I know. And you feel like I've done my job. And do you have anything you want to tell the people who might be watching this about the You Showgirl program platform?
Well, oh my God, so many things I want to tell. Well, what I have created on the You Showgirl platform, anyone can check it out at youshowgirl.com. youshowgirl.com. It is an online platform of fitness, finesse, and feathers. And I created this because I know that anybody can learn to be a showgirl. And even people who aren't necessarily interested in being a showgirl can really benefit from what I'm teaching on there, from Pilates to the showgirl workouts to the heels classes to the showgirl moves tutorials, because it can help you just in confidence on stage, obviously, but also in your life, when you're going to your cousin's wedding, when you're walking down the aisle yourself, when you're wearing your favorite dress or your favorite shoes. It makes you have an entirely more gratifying experience of your own femininity. And professional dancers are going to find so much valuable stuff in there. It's just going to make you look more expensive. And non-dancers are going to find so much fun in it because of what I wanted to bring into this. I had an acting teacher who always says, bring everything you know, and we'll tell you if it's too much. So I brought everything I knew, and it turns out that it looks really fun. It doesn't look like any other fitness platform out there, because it's not like any fitness platform out there. I'm trying to bring my cabaret and events and stage and cinematic experience into your phone or laptop or iPad or whatever you're concentrating on, so that you can get lost in this world and have it be a place that you want to come back to. So I just I'm just excited for people to get in there and play around in there and benefit from it, because the reason that I started also was a little bit to do with COVID, was a big shift. But just before COVID in 2019, I broke both of my feet.
Oh, ouch.
And I was like, am I going to dance again? Is this it? And then I just got back on stage in heels, and weeks afterwards the world shut down again for COVID. And I just thought, I really want to share everything that I know in a way that is accessible to anyone, anywhere. Before, you never know, but before I can't do it anymore, because I know that I practice this work, I do it myself, and I love teaching it, and I just want everyone to have fun in their bodies, and that's why I'm doing it, because it can be more fun than just working out for the sake of working out. And being a showgirl can be much more than just putting on a costume and saying, there, I've done it. Like it can be a much richer experience. So
and you do bring that through in your videos.
Pardon?
You do bring that does come true in your videos on the You Showgirl platform, because I was having fun even though I was in pain.
Yes, that's the key. I'm just plugging my battery in. That's the key, because it has to be fun. It has to be fun. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here to have a good time.
Yes.
And I've had such a good time with you today.
Yay! If you're still sitting like a sad, twisted croissant after this, be sure to check out Danah's You Showgirl classes. The links are in the description. And for more juicy, unfiltered convos about creating a business and life that feels authentically you, be sure to subscribe to my channel.